Welcome to another episode of my Lewis Hamilton Road to Glory career mode on F1 24. This is round 2 at Jeddah. If you haven't seen round 1 at Bahrain, check it out guys, link in the top right. We had a mixed weekend to be fair, and we learned a lot in Bahrain. Overall though, I would say it was actually a positive weekend on the balance of it, even though the result didn't reflect it and we took a pretty heavy hit on our driver stats. Overall, it was a decent weekend, and I learned a lot about the game, the tyres, the strategy, and what to kind of implement into this race and into this weekend, and kind of moving forward in general. Now, we're going to start off the episode with, of course, the new specialist section, and we have quite a few more available. We don't just have manufacturing, we also have a selection of others, but manufacturing is actually closing after this weekend, so we've got to try and finish this and get the goals on the board. You can see in the kind of rating it says 0, and just below the number, which is still over 1,000 points away off what we need to basically get level 1 to get the first perk and reduce upgrade failures by 10%. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get other consultants and specialists on the case, and we're going to go for this time a power unit consultant, and this is going to hopefully improve powertrain upgrade time and basically bring upgrades a lot quicker. Now, the goals are actually pretty straightforward. I'm going to try and achieve a P5 or better in qualifying to get that goal, and then we go to the material fabrication planner, and this one is going to be for chassis upgrades, and this is going to also improve the rate of upgrade pace. And to be fair, pretty achievable goals. This time going for complete 10 laps during a race weekend, but in and out laps do not count. So that should get done in the race pretty straightforwardly. We then go to strategy analyst, which is the last one. And also you can see here we have the possibility of basically increasing how much we earn from practice programs and more resource points, which is going to be massive for upgrades. And actually the goals are super easy. We're going to go for the first one though, to complete a driven lap in 2 different sessions, which is very straightforward, very simple, and that should hopefully get us over the line and lock in all of our specialists for this weekend's race. So with that done, we now go to upgrades. Now, George Russell has been working on the chassis and his upgrade has failed. I'm going to step in and actually snatch it away and repurchase his failed upgrade so that we have that on the car for the next race in Australia. Now, with that done, we arrive at Jeddah, and of course we purchased upgrades of our own in the last episode. So we'll quickly go into a recap of those upgrades. Before that, confirmation, no rain expected. It's in the middle of the desert. You would not expect any rain. But speaking of those upgrades, our upgrade, the engine power, the spark plugs, has arrived. So we're going to have a better power unit this weekend in Jeddah. Hopefully that will help us out on the big straights and give us more performance. And we'll have the chassis upgrade for the next race, along with also the other upgrade I purchased for the rear wing, hopefully improving the downfall. So overall, the car's improving, and we've actually taken a step forward. We're now ahead of Ferrari, and we're second overall in the performance chart. You can see in the bottom there, P17 in Bahrain. Unfortunate first race, picking up damage and trying to recover, but we couldn't quite make it stick. Also, we learned a lot about the strategy, the tyres, and how the hard tyre was an excellent race compound, which we could have done a lot more with. Now, with that said, here we are in practice, currently heading into the final corner on our last lap of the race simulation program, getting our race runs out of the way and just trying to see where the baseline of the car is this weekend, and trying to understand if we have a decent package around here. Across the line we go.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers.
So, successful program. We had all 5 laps in the green. You can see overall tyre wear a little bit above average, fuel consumption absolutely fine, and generally the car was pretty decent. But the big takeaway here was the lap time consistency. You can see I was actually pretty decent. My fourth lap was a bit wild, but besides that it was actually pretty good, and we was outperforming the kind of scheduled tyre wear lap time rate. So overall we finished in 19th. Even worse than Bahrain, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and that was on soft tyres as well. So Pace is not looking particularly great, but we'll make some changes into qualifying on car setup and just kind of get the car dialed in. We're going to make some tweaks on, wing levels and trying to get the car to work a bit better in sectors 1 and 2. And hopefully we can get the balance right and hopefully have a decent qualifying session. So let's get into it at Jeddah.
Welcome to Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar, but let's see who will be the fastest of them all. It's time to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's time for qualifying.
Now, here we go. Qualifying time under the lights. I love this circuit. I really do. I really enjoy it, especially for a single lap. It's so satisfying. Out the final corner then, looking to finish our first timed lap in this session. We're going to set a 1 minute 28.7 as we complete one of our 4 specialist goals already across the line. We go P6 ahead of Leclerc and Stroll behind the McLaren. So a good first lap and also very low tyre wear. I actually fueled for 2 laps. So we're now going to go for our second attempt. Currently 8th place, looking to improve. Russell in P6 there with the 128.662. So if we can find 2/10, we'll be close to George and hopefully gain some positions. And the idea here is to hopefully get through on this tyre on this first run and not have to go for another set of softs like we did in Bahrain, where we was basically struggling and fighting constantly against the cutoff that entire session. We go purple in sector 1. We bash the wall on the exit of the hairpin. We bash the wall again through the fast left-right chicane under the hotel, and we're now looking to try and finish the lap strong. And we do find a bit of time at the final corner, improving by pretty much 2.5 tenths, moving up to P3 behind the Red Bulls with a 128.456. So overall, happy with that. Best first sector overall, and I'm happy to not go back out. We've got a decent margin of over a second to P15, so we're gonna stay in the garage and we comfortably progress into Q2. Russell went back out and improved to 3rd, Piastri to 2nd, so a few other cars, Zhou into the top 5, but we move into Q2, and I'm also using those tyres again for this first lap. I'm doing a 3rd time lap now on this same set of tyres because tyre wear is very low here, so we may as well try to make it work and see what we can do with it. So starting off through the chicane now, cutting to the end of the lap, no dramas, very smooth and good lap. We of course did a 128.456 in Q1, we do a 128.475, so we match on the same set of tyres in Q2, which gives us P3 provisionally, then P5 when we got back to the garage. So that's a very good start and a very good sign, although it seems like everybody was using maybe used tyres or sandbagging because the pace has overall, I'd say, dropped a little bit. So we are going to go back out on fresh tyres and we're going to take no chances because I'm still not used to this game and you know what to expect from the AI, track evolution and track progression. So with that said, we are the last car.
30 seconds left in the session.
We are the last car starting a lap. So the reason I've done this and I've gone out super late is because I want to see if others improve. Because if nobody improves, we can actually abandon the lap and box and save tyres. But for now, we're pushing and we're trying to find time. And we didn't do it in the first few corners, but now we are, through the S's, starting to find those valuable tenths. I mean, a bit of a tweak on car setup again here, and just kind of going through qualifying, just trying to improve also my battery management. And when I use the overtake, we do improve by 0.5 tenth in sector 1, now into the long left-hander. Make sure to keep it out the barriers here, running it very fine, but we find another 0.5 tenth. Now into the right-left chicane. Important to be aggressive here and be brave at that barrier on the inside. And you can see we're now, well, we were 2 tenths up, but we lost a little on the exit, so 1.5 tenths up as Perez sets a 127.7 benchmark. But I actually backed out. I noticed on the minimap everyone had crossed the line and there was no further threat. Everyone had set the lap times and we was into Q3 with that original lap on very old tyres. Checo finishes P1 with that lap, so that's kind of the benchmark we have to aim for in Q3, and that's going to be the lap time to beat. And yeah, overall, happy days, much better session than Bahrain. The car is coming to us, we're getting better, faster, stronger, and I'm still making setup tweaks during the qualifying session. The big one I made in this one was actually adding a little bit of engine braking as we hit the wall on our first time lapping Q3. Now, I'm hoping the engine braking gives me a bit of rotation, which I'm hoping to find and really improve my lap times. Now, I'm currently on those same tyres we used at the end of Q2 when we abandoned our run, so I think they started around 3% the lap, so they're not very worn, they're pretty fresh. We're going to finish our first lap with a 128.1, only P7, even though it's our best lap by 0.3.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now, the tank's pretty much empty.
Everybody else found a decent chunk of time, so this is it. Minimum fuel, fresh tyres, final car adjustments, all or nothing. Let's send it around Jeddah.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
Lewis Hamilton is on pole once again, this time around the Corniche, and he does it beating out Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. A 127.6, the best lap of the weekend from what I can tell, and Russell in P4 as well. So it's going to be likely a Mercedes v Red Bull showdown in the race. Ferrari, McLaren also in the mix as well. But after that session, we do gain a decent bit of pace on our stat sheet, and that's going to help us out as we level up to level 89. Our first level change. Remember, our target is 91, so our first big step in the right direction. But now it's time for the main event.
It's one of the fastest races in the entire calendar. It's Jeddah, it's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and it's next. So let's take a look at a topographical map of the Jeddah Street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Russell, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Zhou, Albon, Bottas, Stroll, Ocon, Sargent, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Gasly, Ricciardo, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Shakes. Alongside me, a real authority on all things motor racing. It's a warm welcome back to Anthony Davidson. Well, Lewis Hamilton on screen there. Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How do they change the story today?
You've got to put it behind you. Whatever happened last time, I was always told as a driver, park it, forget about it. Obviously, feel the pain when it happens, but then you can't dwell on it and carry that through to the next race. So put it behind you and just crack on with this race coming your way now.
Time for the race, and lessons learned from Bahrain. Our strategy is very different for this one. So, as you can see, we have a very short first stint. Now, if you watch the dotted line in the graph, that's the lap time, and you can see just how much slower the medium tyre gets over the stint. And the tyre doesn't really recover, but the hard tyre, you can see actually gets a bit better because of the fuel, and it generally seems to not struggle so much. So with that in mind, the most efficient graph is probably lap 8, give or take. So we'll kind of judge it and see how we go. Lap 7, lap 8, lap 9, more or less. So we'll go in principle lap 8 and see how that works. Fuel, I've also taken lessons from Bahrain. I did an extra lap in Bahrain. For this one we're doing 0.3, which hopefully should be fine. I've made adjustments on setup, so we have tyre pressures a little bit higher than usual because we overheated in practice, so hopefully this should make up for it. And then pretty much besides that, we're good to go. One thing to note again is the specialist goals. Now, we've done the power unit consultant, which is pretty easy. Manufacturing, yet to do, and also material fabrication, yet to do. So we've 2 for 4, and we should hopefully get all 4 by the end of this race. So let's get into it. But most importantly, let's try and get our first points of the season. Possibly a podium, possibly even a win. The race pace wasn't so great in Bahrain, so I don't want to get too over excited or get too ahead of myself, but a podium could be possible. Everybody on mediums, so decent parity, trying to get some tyre temperature, which we've lost a little bit towards the end of the lap. Now the race starts, we're a bit hit and miss, not sure what to expect. Either way, we'll try and hopefully make it work. Short run to turn 1, which is going to help. So let's get to it, and hopefully we can have a good race. I reckon the Red Bulls will be hard to beat, but we can definitely try and fight for 3rd. I think that's realistic for this one. Right, revs up. Hold it around 9. Lights on. Underway. Well, that's a good start. That's a really good start. Gonna cut off the inside straight away. Right, lovely stuff. Let's see if we can run the pace here. A little bit deep there. And turn 4, just struggling with the fuel. Heavier car, slower tyres than qualifying. Also, I'm keen to see what the straight line speed is like, which is, you know, a real big factor around this track. So let's see what we're looking at. Verstappen trying to close, Russell up to 3rd. So Mercedes 1-3 right now. Max realistically will probably pass. I won't lie to you. It's going to be pretty swift, but just want to see what we can do pace-wise. Obviously, DRS will be enabled next lap. There's no chance we're going to drop a Red Bull, so we'll have to try and work with Verstappen and Russell to try and make this race work our way. We've already used a lot of our battery. I feel like I'm driving very within the limits of my car at this stage, but that's okay. Play the long game. Verstappen will go to the outside and go through. Russell looking to follow, but I think Verstappen might be derating or clipping. We lock up the left front into the final corner. Verstappen goes through. Let's try and not make it easy for him. We'll try and fight him.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
If we can send him backwards into a bit of battling with other cars, that would be nice. We get back in front for now. Going to knock it into none through the S section here to try and see if we can regenerate some battery. First brush of the wall there. Verstappen isn't super close, but he'll have DRS. He's not going to challenge us into the chicane, but he will on the next DRS zone, just like on the last lap. Russell might also get a run here. We're going to take a short, tight line. Verstappen goes straight through though. Russell follows. I can't seem to get the nose into that corner. Always get some understeer under braking. Perez trying to go through. Now we're matching up in the straight line speed. Russell up to P1 by the looks of it. We're going to go around the outside of Checo and get that third place back. Verstappen into the lead. I don't think Max is going anywhere at this stage. DRS and slipstream are so strong in this game, especially at this track. It's going to be impossible for him to get away. Perez using the overtake. Russell into the lead. This is fine. I've got no issue with this. Just got to play the game here. Just stay with the pack. No one's going anywhere. Pace is pretty similar throughout the entire field, so we just have to play the long game. Sainz trying to get through. We'll brake late and keep in front. Oh my god, 3 wide. Oof. Perez almost there, making it 3 wide, but Russell cutting him off. This is fine. This is bubbling away nicely. Sainz trying to have a look, but we're just keeping him at bay. Russell into P1, or at least trying to get into P1. We're going to get the cutback on Checo, but we're not going to go for it. Again, we're just being patient. Or Verstappen actually. Checo's actually gone through, so we're just playing the long game at this stage. We'll see how long these tyres go as well.
Okay, Lewis. Engine's running very, very hot. Engine's running hot. Let's try and keep it cooler.
Yep. Engine is hot. We'll have to try and cool it down. This will be a bit more of a challenge, unlike in Bahrain. Look at this, it's really kicking off.
We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Red Bull versus Mercedes though, at Jeddah. Where have we seen that before? Going to try and leapfrog Perez here. There we go, up the inside. Perez tried to go, but we managed to slip it around the outside. Oh my god, Max, George. It's only lap 6, fellas. Still though, this is good. We're competitive. This is exciting. Checo's probably going to get the run. We're just going to show him the long way round. It's a mirror. George, Max, Checo, myself. It's a constant battle here. This is really interesting, really fun. Trying to wonder what the best strategy option would be. Up the inside of everyone into turn 1. We'll take the lead back for now. Also give us some clear air to make sure we meet the requirements on the engine temp. Russell Verstappen battling here. We might just have a chance to brake. Gap is nearly a second. Hang on. Hang on, hang on. Hold the phone. We might just be able to break away here maybe. Need a good lap here. I don't want to drain all the battery, but we might have a shot at getting away. We'll use all the battery here to see if we can try and pull away. Verstappen's likely going to use his, and Russell's going to try and use it to leapfrog him. I think they're still going to get DRS. Regardless, I'm not great into the final corner because of the braking issue. Let's keep this working though. We're doing alright.
You hit that target. Really good job.
Right rear just starting to get a little hot, so we'll have to manage, but we're doing alright. Hard tire should be fine.
Okay, pit in this lap and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
I'm happy to go longer here. We're in this race, so we don't have to panic. We can go long and see if we can extend this stint a little bit and go for the hards and hopefully have some better tires at the end. Russell goes through, Verstappen on the outside. Not really trying to battle too heavily here. Max trying to go through. We'll just box him in on the outside. And hopefully we'll just get in front on the exit here and make it a Mercedes-Benz 1-2. Just like that. Here we go again. This is the straight where it all kind of kicks off. I'm not letting Max have the inside. I want him to go to the outside. This time he doesn't really challenge. Perez actually tries to put a move on his teammate. And they're both going to lose some time. Neither Red Bull pits. I think we'll box this lap though. I think we'll try and see if we can make it happen. Verstappen wasted no time up the inside, but we'll just run him out of road. Just going to get the battery on here. Verstappen dropping back a little bit. We might just have a chance to drop him here. That was a great chicane. Max is really slow. We're just going to wait on the back of George here. We're not going to go for it just yet. We've got DRS safety over Max.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Right, there we go. Wasting no time on George. And that still leaves George out of their DRS range. Sainz getting a move on now, overtaking both Red Bulls. We have a bit of a snap. We're going to box and go for the hard tyre. First time doing the pit lane around here at full speed. That was pretty safe. Right, another goal completed. Come on boys, good stop please. Unlike in Bahrain, thank you. We had 2 dodgy stops in Bahrain. That was all smooth. I just hope we haven't gone too early. Hopefully this is the right strat. I wonder if they're going to go for softs. That could be an option. We've got fresh, soft and medium.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Pressed the wrong button there and got off the limiter a bit late. Going to be just behind Ricciardo.
Okay, Lewis, let's try and climb up the order if we can. We're setting you a new target. Push, push.
Yep, don't worry, we'll hit that straight away. Ricciardo is so slow. This is not going according to plan right now. But I've got to wait. I want to get DRS. It's worth so much around here. Just got so much more grip. There we go.
Yes, mate, we hit the target. Nice work.
Ricciardo tries to fire tip, but we go through. Right, let's use the tyres and the grip. Right, here we go. Lots of cars are in. Nope, no Red Bull in. So both Red Bulls staying out along with Russell and Sainz. So the leader's not tempted to stop just yet. Just like with Ricciardo, these guys are really slow. Knocking it down to none to basically just recharge the battery. We'll try and get Hulkenberg here. At least clear some of these guys. There we go, Hulkenberg cleared. More traffic now in the form of Zhou, Gasly, Sargent.
Okay, George is coming in for his stop.
So now Russell pits. We're not going to fall into the overtake trap. These guys are all likely to pit. We're going to go around the outside of Pierre. And that should release us into clean air, which it does, with DRS. Let's see, I think we're comfortably out ahead. Yes, we are. Comfortably P1, the gap, let's see what it is. Obviously pit exit does gain you time, but look at that, we're a couple of seconds in front. So let's see if my theory is correct. I feel like these tyres are very durable. Let's see if they work. Leclerc's got himself in the race, and so has Alonso by pitting early like us. And at the minute, Red Bull are not in the top 5. Now then, let's see what our pace is like in clean air. 1-to-1 versus George, who's got a lot of company. I think our pace is good enough. We just brushed the wall there. Russell battling with Sainz through the final corner. We go quicker, even with pretty much medium the whole lap. Alonso, quicker still, as we get our first warning. Right then, let's dip into hot lap and leave it there for a few laps and see how many laps we get in full battery mode. Hopefully we get 2 or 3 laps. We can basically go full push and try to increase the gap even more, especially if they're battling behind. You can see the gap is now nearly 5 seconds. Russell down a 4th. Pace is still good. Personal best on the last lap. And purple in the first sector. Into the 130s. Not quite purple. We don't have DRS, but getting quicker every single lap. They're still battling behind. Russell P4 right now. The Ferraris are kind of holding down the 2 podium spots. But it's all ongoing and they're all losing time, so this has been a perfect strategy call from us. It really has put us in a good position, but we'll see if the tyres are still there at the end. So the current fastest lap is a 0.6. I'm going to use overtake to the line here to try and see if we can snatch the lap and the point. There we go, 5. We'll see if that's enough by the end of the race, but an extra point would be lovely to recover some more ground from that first race. We're now out of battery, so we'll go medium for a few laps, but we're still pulling away. Pace is really good. I mean, they're all battling, but even when, you know, they're not battling, I'm actually quicker than Leclerc or whoever's in second.
Right, we've got some clear track in front of us, so let's make best use of it and make the next lap a quick one. You got this.
That should be easily achievable. 33.2 should be beatable.
Nice work, you smashed it. Really good job on hitting that target, mate.
Thank you. Just cruising now, trying to manage tyres a little bit. Tyre temperatures, we've had no issues, but I don't want to run into issues. We have lost over a second. Look at the tyre wear. That says everything. How long have I been on these tyres for? I mean, I've been managing and also taking care of them, but it really goes to show the hard tyres are an excellent race tyre in this game, at least in Bahrain and Jeddah. We've still got a bit of tyres. I did briefly go purple on the previous lap in the first sector, so I'm going to try. We've now got the battery charged. I want to try one more time to see if I can improve running, you know, full power the whole lap rather than only using a bit of overtake at the end. So let's go for it. Full beans, and we'll see if we can try and go even a bit quicker and lock in the extra point. That was nice. Overtake is so powerful, it really is. This does drive up the tyre temperatures, so we'll do this and call it a day. Final corner, bit of a lock up on the left front, but decent rotation. Battery to the line, and we're going to find another half a second, pretty much. Hopefully, that will do it. As the Red Bulls reappear, Perez in P4. Gap now 10 seconds to the cars behind. Out of safety car window. Let's just bring this home. I've got to say, it's been an absolute masterclass today. Beautiful strategy. Car feels great in race trim. We've got really good race pace, and I've just been cruising this stint, really enjoying just driving the car. The hard tyre is where it's at. Now then, we're waiting for Russell to see if he can try and make it a double podium for the team. Ferrari working well, holding down the 2-3 positions. We'll see if Russell can do anything in the closing stages. We're going to finish the race though, and after having a pretty piss poor Bahrain, we're going to win. Give me that radio.
Mega job, guys. What an amazing result. Thank you so much. So proud of you all. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing.
What a drive! What a driver! Lewis Hamilton takes the victory!
A great display of dominance today by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So George Russell in the end managed to bag the podium, so a 1-3 finish for the team. I really wanted the radio to be get in there Lewis, but we don't seem to have that, which was a real shame. I was really hoping for that. But anyway, race win and also fastest lap of the race, so we do get maximum points in the race, and that is the best way to bounce back after Bahrain. Verstappen P8. I wonder if he got damage at some point, because he was way quicker than that and then suddenly kind of dropped off. Maybe with the multiple bits of battling, you know, a possible end plate could have easily happened. Norris also down in 9th place, dropping back as well. Definitely some damage there, I think, for those guys. Either way, we'll take it, and it's really good points for us. Leclerc 4th, Sainz 2nd, Perez in the top 5, Alonso 6th, as high as 2nd at one point. That battle was crazy, by the way, just constant DRS and slipstream. But either way, no retirements to really note, so let's talk about the standings. And now after 2 rounds, we are up to 3rd, so bouncing back in the best possible way, ahead of George. Sainz is your championship leader, and Verstappen P5 right now, which is huge. So we then go to constructors, and we are 2nd, 13 points behind Ferrari, Red Bull down to 3rd. Oh boy, what an interesting start to the season, guys, and it's only just begun. 2 rounds in, and we'll see what happens. Either way, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. As always, a big shout out to the members, and check the links down below, guys, also for my channel sponsors and equipment. And yeah, hopefully we have another good race next time out, round 3, I believe, in Australia, so we'll see how that goes. Either way, guys, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.